Okay, I'm going to try to keep myself on time. How much time do we want to leave for questions? Just want to make sure
10 minutes.
Okay. And the session is until 2:30?
2:30.
Great. So even so, I feel like I have a lot to say and not a lot of time to say it. But as Rich said, my name is Ashley Bass. I'm a senior product manager at Serial Solutions, which is a ProQuest business. And as a group, we decided it made sense for me to go last because our place in the ebooks discovery ecosystem at Serial Solutions is often viewed as being kind of a downstream process. These ladies have spoken about the different ways that people find and discover and link to and access book content and other types of electronic content. And Serial Solutions is one of those places. We are often the starting point for researchers. We are an aggregator of lots of information about what's out there in the electronic content world. And so when we think about this as an ecosystem, what this is really about is the relationships, or what I want to at least convey today or take the perspective about is the relationships that we have with all of you, with libraries, and with end users and researchers in libraries. And our perspective is to understand all of those pieces of this broader ecosystem in order to offer effective discovery and management to libraries. So strictly defined, an ecosystem is a community of living organisms in conjunction with the non-living components of their environment to form a system. I could have probably gotten a really interesting image from one of Christine's book covers. And in the business sense, and in terms of ebooks discovery, ecosystems are really comprised of people and technology and businesses that provide goods and services upon which organizations depend for success. So we depend on you for success. You depend on us for success in ebooks discoverability. And of course, our mutual clients, in particular libraries, depend on us working together to achieve their mission. So ProQuest, of course, is part of an even broader ecosystem outside of Serial Solutions. ProQuest is a content provider. ProQuest provides tools for researchers, tools for publishers, and of course, solutions for libraries. And this last part, the solutions for libraries, is really where Serial Solutions makes the greatest contribution. We were started about, just almost 13 years ago exactly. And we started as a company really with the vision of one librarian. So at the time, electronic journal content was emerging as a very clear direction in the library world and content partners of libraries. And there were a lot of unique challenges that we really started as a company to address those challenges. And since then, we've evolved. We've added and innovated new products. We've continued to add to our previously existing products and services. And one of the things that we did a few years ago was to bring ebooks into the mix. We added electronic book metadata to our knowledge base. I've heard some reference to knowledge bases already today. And I'll talk a bit more about that. But we did add electronic book content to our knowledge base a number of years ago because it was becoming more and more clear that this was a new challenge for libraries and an opportunity to help create more efficient and effective management and discovery. And sort of from the library's perspective, if you look at their workflows, ecosystem, Serial Solutions, like you, we play a role in a lot of different parts. So this is focused on discovery, and that's certainly a significant aspect of what we do. But libraries really do rely on us to aggregate and represent lots of information about the world of electronic content. We, of course, do that. It's a big part of what we offer to libraries. It's why our partnerships with you are so important. And we then, of course, build features and products that leverage this aggregate information to help libraries manage their electronic collections more efficiently, to assess their collections more efficiently, and to promote better discoverability, meet patrons' needs for finding and accessing information. So just to give you a sense of, kind of where we are in the ecosystem, as I said, a lot of what we do is really about aggregate. It's about lots of activity. We maintain relationships. Well, this is our client count, roughly 2,200 libraries around the world. We maintain relationships with thousands of publishers and providers, platforms. We track tens of thousands of databases and collections and millions of titles and holdings and URLs and access dates. Because that is our part in this ecosystem is being that aggregate view. We have about 2,200 clients. On the Summon Discovery solution, we see an average of almost 10 million searches per month. When you look into our management and administrative products, we see about 50,000 logins per month across our client base. In the month of April 2013 alone, we facilitated more than 5 million open URL searches, right? So this is really all about linking users. Well, the Summon stats would help you understand the level of discovery and searching that's happening on our platforms across our clients and across all types of content. The link resolver, of course, is more about fulfillment, getting people to content on your platform. So there's a lot going on at Serial Solutions. And when we talk to libraries, they often cite statistics about year over year, month over month, day over day increased usage on their own websites as places to start once they've implemented something like Summon. And we hear statistics, too, about increases in usage of electronic content with an implementation of a product like Summon. 20 to 40% on average, and sometimes up to 200% and 300% increases in usage of particular journals and other types of electronic content. So even though today's talk is really focused on ebooks discovery, for us, discovery isn't possible without these other components. The data and management components are really foundational to what we offer to libraries, but they also contribute to greater discovery of ebooks and other kinds of electronic content. So data is foundational. It's a foundational element upon which the Serial Solutions products operate. And in today's world, libraries that have to simultaneously manage vast electronic collections and make those collections discoverable at the same time. So if they can do that at once, then of course there's a tremendous amount of efficiency. You can't make a collection discoverable without managing or administering it in some way. So our goal then, of course, is to help them manage and make discoverable their collections in the most efficient way possible so that they're able to achieve their mission. And it really does start with your content and metadata about your content, as has already been noted. We build and maintain a couple of very key content repositories at Serial Solutions. I'll talk a little bit more about them. And those are global in scope. They're sort of universal in nature. And then the yellow disk represents the work that libraries do on our platform to represent their collections, right? It's important that a discovery service or a link resolver know what a library offers access to. So, of course, there's that aspect of it. And that work and that dynamic relationship between the knowledge base, the index, and the library's administrative and management platform is really what powers discovery and management simultaneously. So when we talk about data at Serial Solutions, and we say that that's our foundation, we are talking about these two data repositories, the KnowledgeWorks knowledge base and the Summon Index. And of course, you've heard reference to knowledge base and index and search engine throughout these. We're not the only company that maintains this. We've been doing it for a long time, and we do maintain these content repositories in ways that we feel really do help optimize ebook and other kinds of discovery and access to your valuable content. So the KnowledgeWorks knowledge base is pretty massive these days. We've seen some phenomenal growth in ebooks, of course, over the past few years. And a knowledge base, generally speaking, is metadata about collections. And again, this is very aggregate for us. It's important that we understand the content that the library buys, how they buy it, where it is accessed. So lots and lots of big numbers here. And of course, we also maintain things like linking syntax and other really valuable technologies that kind of complete that circle of discovery and access. And we're doing this across, as I said, thousands of providers and publishers. And we also take extra steps to make sure that the metadata that we manage is authoritative, and of high quality. That's really impactful in, as we've seen in other presentations, in really getting people to the content and really meeting the researchers' needs. So we do data correction, we augment data with authoritative sources of information, and all of this really does contribute to our ability to make things discoverable. The Summon Index is different from the KnowledgeWorks knowledge base, but of course there's a relationship there. And the Summon Index has over 1 billion items, started out with 350 million, so massive amounts of growth over the last few years, and covers a wide variety of content types, ebooks, of course, included. So the pie chart just puts it into perspective, the size of the Summon Index relative to other library catalogs or other content sources in the library. And the size is very, very important. Obviously, libraries look to companies like Serial Solutions to cover the broad, the breadth of their entire collection. What we're trying to do is help them meet their researchers' needs for information. And we need to know as much as we can about their collection in order to facilitate that. The index also, of course, is built for purpose. It's built for speed. It's got great relevance, match-merge technology, and other features and functionality that really do facilitate our ability to meet users' expectations, which is why libraries buy discovery solutions, but also to surface and give access to the content that libraries acquire and subscribe to from all of you. So it's, thinking about the data realm for Serial Solutions, this is really where the relationships that we all have with each other and with our mutual clients are most critical. If we have accurate information, up-to-date information, depth of information in our content repositories, of course, we can offer better discoverability through our tools, and we can help increase the usage of electronic content and ultimately really help the library meet their mission. I think a lot of people are really familiar, with the discovery aspects, or maybe more familiar with the discovery aspects of what we do. I would just want to give you a quick peek into the management piece, because as I said, it's really part and parcel of discovery for us at Serial Solutions. So this is just an example of kind of our back end. I mentioned librarians, of course, manage their holdings information with Serial Solutions. That's what drives discovery, points people to the right places to access content. And so libraries often think of Serial Solutions as their kind of system of record for their full electronic collection. So in this example, you can see lots of different providers, lots of different databases or packages, massive title lists, and also different statuses over time. Something might be in a pre-acquisition environment. It's being trialed or considered, or maybe it's active. And of course, those things that are actively subscribed or owned by the library are what show up and surface in the results in a product like Summon. We also allow libraries to track more than just their electronic inventory, but also important information like renewal dates and notes and contacts and licensing information. Some of this is leveraged in discovery. This concept of being able to present terms of use of a particular journal, book, article in the discovery experience can be really valuable to libraries, so that's something that we facilitate. But this is also a really valuable tool for libraries to manage their electronic collection and save time and money, build efficient workflows. And because Serial Solutions is often the system of record for a library's e-content collection, of course we need to give them ways to get the data out of our system and use it in processes and projects and workflows. They often do that. That's something that we provide. Of course, we also use all this data in our own downstream discovery and linking solutions. We also help facilitate assessment. Counter is a big thing for us, but again, this is aggregate. Our offering to the library here is to aggregate counter reports, put them into a platform where they can apply cost information and analyze trends, usage over time, respond to accreditation report requirements, and so forth. So the value we're providing here, again, is aggregating all of that information and then building features and functionality on top of it that lets libraries do something with the information with less effort. On the discovery side, what probably most of you are familiar with, and maybe our most significant contribution from a discovery standpoint, is offering a single search box, really compelling starting place for a user to search across the breadth of the library's collection. It's important that libraries meet user expectations for searching in the modern world. It's important that we can represent the library's valuable content and that we can surface it in a familiar and very usable way. We heard this too from the platform side, from the publisher side. We need to give really good ways, just like you do, for patrons and researchers to interact with your content, to be able to search and get to the most relevant results quickly and easily and in a familiar environment. And in this particular example, we're seeing a case where we're merging print and e together. So here's an example where the library offers access to the ebook as well as the book in print. And this can only happen because of the data, because of the management, and because of the extra work that we do in the Summon Index and in the attention that we focus on the user interface. You may be aware Serial Solutions does other things in the discovery realm. We provide MARC records to libraries for journals and for e-journals and e-books. And this helps libraries get their electronic content into their catalogs, which is another place that that patrons may be looking for and accessing content. This is pretty old school, the traditional A to Z list, which you're probably familiar with from a journal standpoint. But again, this is aggregate, and we added ebooks into this environment a number of years ago. And so it's a nice aggregate list of the library's e-book and e-journal titles, supports searching and browsing for known items really well. And then, of course, links people through to the content on the platform or on the publisher site. And open URL link resolution is something that we've been doing for a long time. And as we've added ebooks into the knowledge base and added linking syntax and been able to facilitate chapter-level linking and book-level linking, we've seen, of course, that this is a way to really help to drive users to full text. To get them from wherever they started, whether it was Google Scholar or an index or Summon or some other discovery service. This is really the mechanism that gets people, or one of the mechanisms that gets a user directly to the content on the platform. And of course, that has an impact on usage as well. So the talk is really about optimizing ebooks discovery, and I mentioned all of these things that we do. So our ecosystem is really about taking lots of data, putting it all together, understanding a lot about a lot of different kinds of content, putting it together, and then applying such things as proprietary relevance algorithms, great match and merge technology, direct linking, open URL linking, developing features that patrons love and librarians find very useful, so that we can facilitate better ebooks discovery and other kinds of discovery, but also help the library handle some of the complexities of their own business along the way. And of course, we know that the world continues to evolve. Everybody's talking about new content models, the importance of tables of contents and chapter-level linking. Models like patron and demand-driven acquisition are really on our minds as well. So where we're really going in the future and where we hope to have more conversations with all of you is continuing to evolve the management solutions, making sure that we understand new content models, that we are able to facilitate such things as DDA and PDA and take, help reduce the need for libraries to really do a lot in that process. In the terms of ebooks discoverability, of course, if we can work with you and to serve our mutual clients, ebooks will become discoverable faster with less lag time. So that's one example. Another place that we're really working on heavily right now is augmenting what we offer in terms of assessment, really helping libraries prove their worth, understand their collections, help make migrations from P to E, and facilitate that process, hopefully reducing the workload and the expenditure of the library to build and maintain their collections in the best possible ways. Of course, we'll continue to innovate on discovery. User expectations are high. The technology that's out there outside of the library world moves at lightning speed, and we really have to understand that. And then a big part of innovating and continuing to evolve discovery is about the content, getting more of it in the index, handling it in the right ways to facilitate, chapter discovery, direct linking, and so on and so forth. And something that we're working on and talking with people about, too, is how can we make this whole process more efficient for the library? From an ebooks discovery standpoint, that's all about making books discoverable faster. Right now there's still lag time. There are needs to move records around from place to place. And a big part of what we'd like to do is try to reduce that so that we can lead to greater discovery, faster discovery, and, of course, achieve our goal of helping libraries get there with less effort on their part, and that really requires a strong partnership. So that's it. So thanks very much.